All right, all right, all right. Hello and welcome to my channel, which is also your channel, Clear Waters. We are clearing the waters. Tonight, I'll be sharing with you my thoughts about Christianity, a cry for help. This is going to be an interesting conversation, maybe a conversation with myself, probably. Like always, I'm going to check my audio and I'm also going to check the chat windows, make sure that they are open. This is going to take me just one moment just to make sure that I can see the chat windows. Just in case someone wants to ask me a question. I'm live streaming on two different live streams. One is horizontal and the other one is vertical. Check audio first. Yep. Audio is working. And I can see both chat windows. So let's write something just to welcome. Welcome. Christianity is a cry for help. Why do you believe in God? I think that's a good way to start a conversation. Don't you think? There you go. And just in case someone wants to call in, I'm going to share my camera. Call in. And call in. Never tried that before. Just in case someone wants to have a conversation, a respectful conversation, there's a link where you can call in. There you go. So Christianity is the title for tonight. Christianity, a silent cry for help. Man, this is going to be an interesting subject because it's something that no one wants to talk about. It's a very delicate subject. But I think that we must talk about this subject. Like I said on the yesterday's live stream, the belief in God presents a humongous problem for humanity. And in this case, I'm talking about specifically Christianity. Maybe tomorrow I'll talk about Islam. I'm talking about in religion in general. The beliefs in God is a cry for help, a silent cry for help. Someone has a psychological and an emotional problem, and they're trying to find solutions to that problem in an irrational way. You know, why do I say that this is a delicate delicate topic because I can very well make a comparison about the belief in God with a trans person. A man that believes that he is a woman, for me, in a way, is the same as you saying that your God is real. And I'm going to explain to you why in this live stream. That's why I like to have conversations with people, with smart people. Because I think it's important to bring awareness to this problem of believing in God. For me, in a way, if you believe in a God, it's like you do the tarot reading, the cards, or you are into witchcraft. For me, there's no difference between witchcraft and believing in a God. They both have ceremonies. They both have sacrifices. So we're not really thinking that no, Javier, no. Christianity has nothing to do with witchcraft. Of course you're going to say no. Because, man, how do I say this? If you are in love with someone, you're so blinded with this love that someone tells you, hey, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend is going out with another person, and you're like, nope, that's not possible. No, my girlfriend loves me. Okay, I saw your girlfriend yesterday with another guy in a restaurant and they were kissing. No. How is that possible? That's why they call it blind love. Same thing happens with God. Why? Because your feelings are in the way. We don't want to get hurt emotionally because it's the most awful pain. That's why we reject some facts about life, because we're looking for protection for our feelings. That's why I said yesterday, I think it was, no, let me see. Probably on a previous live stream, I specifically said that the most important thing in your life is not what you think. When I ask someone this question about what is the most important thing in your life, people start enlisting a whole bunch of things that are not the most important thing. They start with, God is my most important thing in my life. Jesus is the most important thing. My family, my husband, my wife, my children, my job. Incredible people say that their job is the most valuable thing they have. No. See, I think the moment you start understanding what human mechanics means, you start coming to the understanding that the most important thing in your life is your feelings. You could be a person that has no problems whatsoever. You are a multi-millionaire. You have love around you. You have health. If there's something wrong with your feelings, everything can end. You know what I'm talking about. You could be the strongest man on earth. If something affects you in an emotional level, you're gonna probably be the weakest man on earth. That's how powerful and important your feelings are to you. Why I'm saying this? Alice, hi. Why I'm saying this? Because this feelings protection mechanism that we have, we take it to the book. I'm talking about the book that talks about a God, specifically in this case Christianity. I'm talking about the Bible. This idea that there is a loving God out there because you found the information in a book, you start creating associations emotionally with this idea of this God. Once you are in the level that you're feeling, you have feelings for this information about a God that you created yourself, you're going to start acting differently. You're going to start talking differently because you will want to protect those feelings that you are feeling in relation to the information of a God that you read on a book. In case you still don't understand what I'm saying, or maybe I'm not explaining myself very well, okay? Today, there is people, believe it or not, falling in love with an AI character in a computer. There's people falling in love with a doll. Because the AI, the doll, the God is unimportant. It's what you are feeling. So if an AI character in a computer is able to generate emotions in your system and you feel really good, like, man, I love talking to my AI girlfriend. Man, someone's going to tell you, man, I think you're crazy. You're going to be like, nope, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I have a personal relationship with my AI girlfriend. And you're going to protect not the relationship, not the girlfriend. You're going to protect your feelings. So when someone tells you, hey, I think that the God that you think that is real, just because you read it on a book, might not be real. Nope. That's my personal relationship with my Lord and Savior. Yes, and the guy is also in love with an AI. They have a personal relationship. Same exact thing. Both believing in God and believing that you have an AI girlfriend, both are a cry for help. Someone wrote, Alice-M9QIIF said hi. Yes, the beliefs in God and believing that you have an AI girlfriend and you are able to feel things in your system, man, what does that tell you about your God? You can make up any God. I made up one. It's called Chulum. And that God is going to be able to generate feelings and emotions in your system. Because the God is unimportant. It's what you feel. But generating feelings from a relationship that you have with an AI girlfriend or with a doll, again, could worry someone like, wait a second, what do you mean you have a girlfriend an AI girlfriend? What do you mean? Do you have feelings for this AI girlfriend? Yes. I love her. We are in love. Man, that's interesting. So I might be doing the same thing with God. God is like an AI. But I feel God. I feel Jesus in my heart. Jesus touched me. He touched me last night. I was praying. I felt the Lord's presence. Yeah, the kid that is in love with the AI is feeling just the exact same thing as you. He's feeling feelings for the AI, feelings for the doll. Why? Because this is in a way human mechanics. That's how we work. Think about something. If you are unconscious, you don't generate feelings, emotions, because there's no energy going through. You have to be conscious. You have to think about the God, Jesus. You have to put the images in your mind, and then through this power of association that you have created yourself, you generate the emotions and you say, no, man, I'm feeling the Jesus. No. You are generating feelings because of the images that you're putting in your head. It's called an impression. You get information, you get images, information of images, and you attach those images or those thoughts with emotions or feelings. You have an impression in your system that you can generate and regenerate. Same thing with a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You have good experiences with that person. Every time you replay that image in your mind, you get a nice feeling. Same thing with this supposedly God that you read on a book. It's not the God generating the feelings in you. It is you by what you read on a book. That's why, and that explains why, if someone asks you, where is God? Can you point to where God is? You say no, because in the book says, because I feel, because God is outside time and space. You cannot point to the God, man, because it's all in your mind. It's sad. I'm going to be doing another live stream, and I'm going to name it. Probably you can help me with the title. I'm going to name it the, I don't know, maybe the sadness of pretending that there is a God. The loneliness in pretending. You know, you can have one person, like I said yesterday on my live stream from yesterday, you can have a person tell you a lie, okay? And then you get upset, man, why are you lying to me? But it's very hard to get 2-3 people lie to you. But if you introduce a group of people to one of these available gods right now, man, people are gonna lie in groups, in masses. You can have a good person possibly doing something that doesn't look too good, or maybe took the wrong choice and did something bad. Oh, that's rare. But when you have a God introduced to a group of people, you're gonna have groups of good people doing bad things. That is crazy. You could have a human being, a person, that you have a conversation, you can have a really nice conversation with another person. You introduce that person to one of these gods from one of these books. You try to have a conversation with this person, it's going to be a nightmare. Because now this person is going to talk in ways that that person was not talking before. Now this person that was really nice, now is talking about spirits, about sacrifices, about blood, about demons, about a God. What happened? This is the problem of believing in God. You are not you. You are someone else's idea of a God. You're not talking for yourself. You're repeating stuff that you read on a book. That's why when people start talking about God, in any scenario, people move away because people think you are nuts. You are brainwashed. You are a person that could do bad things. You know, one thing I learned from someone that I love very much, I remember this advice all my life. Javier, be careful and move away if you ever see someone walking around with a Bible under the arm. That is so true. Someone walking around with a Bible under their arm, man, is up to no good. I have learned that. FASA 9180, first of all, thank you so much for taking of your precious time to be in this live stream. Thank you. And thank you for taking the time to write a comment, FASA 9180. I believe in God 100%. Man, congratulations. I don't have an applause audio. But if the God feels good to you, man, who am I to tell you not to believe in the particular God that you want to believe from one of those books? Which one are you believing? Are you believing in the Buddha? Are you believing in the God from Islam, Allah? Or you believe in the God of the Bible? Or you believe in Chulum? Which one is your God? Which one is the real God? You gotta be specific in this channel. Which of these gods offers you the most emotional rewards to you? If you're so kind to share with whoever is seeing this live stream, in which God do you believe is real? Maybe. Okay, a little bit of water with salt. Okay, maybe FASA 9180 didn't want to share with us which God he or she believes in. It wouldn't be an interesting conversation. You know, if you get into a live stream like this one and someone is telling you, hey, there's a big problem for humanity to be believing in gods, and you're going to express that, I think there's a high possibility that I'm going to ask you which God and why. What made you decide that what you read on a book about a character, about a God, is real? What made the change in your belief system? What changed in your emotions? What piece of information was the one that made it that you say, you know, there's a loving God that is in heaven and he was the creator of the universe? Oh, I believe. Was it that? What was it that made a click in your system? Most likely, it's going to be something that you felt, because believing in gods has nothing to do with believing in gods. It has everything to do with your feelings. Javier, I felt the Lord touching me. Yes, of course you felt it. Yes, you felt it. I also felt Chulum touching me, my heart. Javier, who's Chulum? A God that just made up a few weeks ago. But for some reason, man, I said, Chulum, can you touch my heart? And I felt something so beautiful in my heart. I felt light. I felt like, man, I felt love. But I'm like, wait a second, I just made that God a couple of weeks ago. Lives a beach, like swimming beach, 420 wrote, I believe in a creator. However, I am not sure if there is anything I am required to do to acknowledge that other than in my own heart, all the books that have been created and manipulated by man's hand. Life's a beach. I don't understand your comment. Let me read it again. I believe in a creator. However, I'm not sure if there is anything I am required to do to acknowledge that other than in my own heart, all the books have been created and manipulated by man's hands. Okay. So you believe but don't believe. You believe in your own way, maybe not in the book's way. That it? That's what I understand. Okay. You know, a few nights ago, I made a live stream where I put looking for evidence of a God, and I saw people coming and going through the coming and going in and out the live stream, and nobody provided any evidence for a God. Aiden Trasher. Hi, Aiden. Thank you for being here in the live stream, and thank you for sending a hi. I'm doing awesome. Hope you're doing awesome also. In this live stream, this channel, we try to keep it honest, transparent, and try to be decent human beings. And that's why in this channel, if you believe in a God, we talk about it. Why people believe in gods? Because it is my understanding that the beliefs in God, it's a problem for humanity. It's taking humanity down the toilet. Because the belief in God is a silent cry for help. Not able to find solutions to your problems, emotional problems, you gonna opt for irrational ways to find solutions to your problems. And that should not be the case. The Bible encourages you to find solutions to your problems outside of yourself, and that formula is never good. The Bible teaches you that you are dirty, that you are a sinner, that you are a bad person, and you need a medicine that is called Jesus. That is a horrible doctrine that all of us as loving human beings that care for each other should help other people that are stuck with this information about a loving God that in reality is very violent and has emotional and psychological problems. We have to help other people to get out of this garbage information about a God. And besides that, I offer you a better God than the God of the Bible. It's called Shulam. Shulam is way better God than the God of the Bible. Starting that Shulam doesn't require any sacrifices, especially human sacrifices. How's that for a God? Man, you can ask me questions if you think that I'm wrong, that what I'm saying is not correct, or your experience is different. You can ask me questions so you can share what your thoughts are. Aiden Crusher writes, I do believe in God and Jesus, and I hope when I die, I go to heaven with God and Jesus. Aiden, good for you, man. Congratulations. Is that knowing that you're gonna go to heaven and see God and Jesus when you die? Does that make you feel good? If it does, man, thumbs up. But in my point of view, silently, like silent cry for help. I try to be careful about saying this, but you saying that tells me that there's a silent cry for help somewhere around you. Because believing in God is irrational. You're making it up. The whole book, everything is a lie. Everything is made up. The God lives in your mind, in your imagination. If you're able to generate good feelings about this God, we have to ask you, why do you believe in one of those gods from these books, these awful books? If you're hoping to see God, it's understandable because you don't want to be cooked, barbecue on for eternity. So I don't think, honestly, that you want to see God because you won't love to see God. You're just trying to avoid pain. You don't want to be tortured. So it's very hard, Aiden, to convince anyone that you want to go to heaven because God is loving. Someone is going to call you out like, no, I think you're just trying to avoid pain. You don't want to be tortured. And he's going to torture you, God. Oh man, the whole thing is screwed up. This whole idea of Christianity and salvation is horrible. I explained to you on my previous live stream, this salvation scheme is violence. This God that you're hoping to see when you die probably is going to change his mind. And they're going to say, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't think salvation is now through Jesus Christ. Now you have to do something else. And if you don't do it, you go to another hell this is a new 2.0 hell. Yeah. Aiden, very respectfully, very respectfully, I don't see what good is going to come out of you believing any of this stuff from one of these books. You got information that you got from a book, and suddenly you decide that it's real. I ask you, what made you decide that the information in the book is real? What was it? Was it something that you felt? That will be interesting to know, to find out what convinced you that the information in the book, that the character described in one of these books is real. What clicked for you? Like, hey, it says here that God is the creator of the universe, and good people, or the one that accept Jesus, go to heaven. Oh man, that's my Lord and Savior. That's him. What? In my case, when I was a believer, it was a group pressure. I was suddenly friends with people that were going to church, and suddenly I was praising the Lord, and suddenly I was speaking in tongues. Suddenly I was having supernatural experiences with the Holy Spirit. Now that I look back, I'm like, man, what the heck happened? I was pretending the whole entire time, and I didn't even notice. I thought that Jesus touched me. I was saved by my Lord Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Today that I am an honest human being, I'm like, man, I was cuckoo in the head, man. I let this group of people influence me so much that I changed the way I act, the way I talk, the way I think. I was so blindly in love with this character in a book that I'm like, man, what moment I decided that the character in the book was real? I have never seen God or Jesus, never heard them speak, never smelled them, never touched them. So that means that if someone comes and says that, my God is, like I said, Chulum, how I'm going to tell that person that they're making up a God? Because I cannot show them my God. The God of the Bible, I cannot prove them to them. So you can have hundreds, thousands of people creating gods, different gods, and you cannot prove them wrong. That's why I created my own God. It's called Chulum. I'll show you here. He's real. He's 100% real. I can prove it to you. Chulum is real. Here it is. Because Chulum is the creator of the universe. So there is more than enough proof that Chulum exists. He's the real God. He's the one that created the universe. How in the world are you going to prove me wrong? So Chulum, my God, could be made up. Yours too. The only thing that you have is a book. I have a slide. Which one is real? How are we going to prove which God is real? Forget about Allah. Let's have a competition between the God of the Bible and Chulum. Which one is real? Tell me about your God and prove your God. Are you able to prove your God? I'll prove mine. If you're going to say that you know that the God of the Bible is real because you know it, I'm going to tell you exactly the same thing. I know that Chulum is real. How do I know? Because I know. It makes no sense. Javier, but there is plenty of evidence that the God of the Bible is real. I'm going to tell you the exact same thing about Chulum. There's plenty of evidence out there everywhere you look. Look at your hands. That's proof of Chulum's existence. He created these hands. And you're going to be like, no, it was the God of the Bible. And I'm going to tell you, no, it was the Chulum. And you know it was the God of the Bible. And I'm going to tell you, no, it's Chulum. And we're not going to go anywhere. So what you are doing by maintaining this ridiculous stance that there is a God out there that keeps an eye on you and protects you. Come on. I think we have to pass the page and start to be honest back to ourselves. And you know what? I think I'm creating the whole thing in my mind. I think so, because it cannot be that I feel God in my heart and God is with me and God is protecting me and the neighbor's kid is dying of cancer. Man, I don't think that's fair. Someone asked me the other day, but you don't want Jesus' love? I'm like, no, I don't want Jesus anywhere close to me, man. I'm going to let him have it. Get out of here. What are you doing here in my apartment? What are you doing here right beside my bed? No, Javier, I'm going to love you. No. Get out of here and go to a hospital and save kids. But Javier, I want to save you from salvation because I died. No. You're not coming to me with that BS. Go away. I think you are the devil. You're scaring me. If you are going to present yourself in this earth, stop giving stupid messages, prophecy, and this person is, no, cheeky. Go save kids, man. Jesus, go to a hospital, walk through the hospital, touch kids with cancer, and save them. Stop sending me stupid prophecies and messages that have no significant value. All those people in the internet, whenever you hear someone saying, God revealed to me, they are involved in something that is not good, probably scamming, selling God for money, doing nothing good. Someone that tells you, God spoke to me, they are BSing. And you, it is my point of view, should not accept that, because you are contributing to a problem in humanity. You are keeping the dishonesty alive. You keep the God of the Bible alive, then Allah is going to take more strength. Because if you can have your God of the Bible, then the Muslim can have his own God, and the rest of the other people. And Javier can have Chulum too, and he's going to create his church, and he's going to put churches in every part of the world. I'm going to put churches of Chulum in every state in the United States. I'm going to take over all these stupid religions that are based on violence, including Christianity. Christianity is a fact that is based on an act of violence. So why there is so much suffering in this world? Because you are supporting that suffering through irrational beliefs and irrational actions. Nothing in this world is going to come out good if you continue lying to yourself just because you want to feel good. My Lord and Savior, He touched me last night. And when someone tells me that, I had to take a deep breath, like, congratulations, man. You are the chosen one. But please don't tell that out in public, because there's people dying. They've been praying for their family member for years. Family member suffering. And you're going to tell them that God watches over you. It's going to be a slap on the face, man. Especially the family with the kids sick. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to sound very arrogant and very disconnected from reality. Don't do it, man. All those people, preachers, people selling God in the internet. God loves you. He has something good for you. No, it's all a lie. Someone that wants to make money selling the idea of a good God has to lie to you. There is no other way around it. That person has to lie, has to present the idea of a good God, because a bad God will not generate good emotions in your system. And if you don't get good feelings, emotions, you're not going to buy whatever I'm selling. I'm selling God. I think Aiden run away from this channel. If you don't like honesty, transparency, and decency, this is not the channel that you should be watching. Go find one of those channels that are preaching, if you want to feel good at any cost, even at the cost of your being honest human being. Go watch those channels. Go watch and what's it called? Waste your time with one of these thousands of channels of debates that you can spend 5 hours of people debating about their gods. You can spend days, weeks, months. They are not going to come to any conclusions, because the God is unimportant. It's the money that is coming from the debates. It is a business. You are the one that haven't connected the dots yet. There's two kinds of people when it comes to God. Remember this. You're going to remember my face when I tell you this. There's the people that give the money, and there's people that collect the money. There's the two kinds of people when it comes to God. Don't believe me? Go find out for yourself. Go put in YouTube, God's love, Jesus Christ, salvation, and you're going to find thousands of people talking about God. Oh, God is loving, the God of the Bible. He's going to save you. Jesus is going to save you. Buy my merchandise. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I make a parenthesis right now. Please do not subscribe to my channel. Do not put a like. Do not share the videos unless you think that I'm providing something of value to you. I think that's fair enough, right? Excuse me. Wow. Man, I just had an idea for another video. Wow. Just came out of inspiration. I think God put it in my mind. The God Circus. Man, that's a good title for tomorrow is Friday? Yes. That's a good title for tomorrow. The God Circus. Yeah, because it's a circus. Let's go back to Christianity, a silent cry for help. You know, with the most respect, if you see a person, a man, saying that they are a woman, you probably are gonna try to avoid that person because you suspect something is not right psychological or emotionally in that person. Right? People don't say it, but they think it. I think unconsciously you do that because you know that if you get into a conversation with this person, let's say an honest conversation with this person, a man that thinks a woman, you're going to ask the person, why are you saying that you are a woman when I can clearly see that you are a man? And the person being respectful, it's not getting mad, having a conversation. It's like, I am a woman. You're looking at a woman. You might think that I'm a man, but I'm a woman. And you are like, but I'm looking at yourself. I'm looking at everything about you. And you look just like a man. Everything about you says you're a man. And the person says, I know, I understand. I don't get offended. But I'm a woman. And then you are getting tired of repeating and going in circles. And then you dare to ask the person, why, how do you come to the conclusion that you are a woman? You're now risking it. And the person says, because I am a woman. What part of I am a woman you don't understand? And you're thinking to yourself, man, this guy. And you, because you're daring, you ask the person, okay, do you have any proof or evidence that you are a woman? And the guy says, I don't have to provide any evidence for what I already know that I am. Besides that, you can see the proof everywhere that I am a woman. And you are to the point that you are hitting a wall. I'm describing to you the process of believing in a God. You can have the same conversation with a believer. Is God real? The person is going to tell you, yes, 100%. But I don't see the God. And the person is going to tell you, it's real. God is real. And you ask the person, do you have any proof or evidence? I don't need to prove God. Besides that, everything about life is an evidence for the God of the Bible. And you are like, man, I'm not going anywhere with this conversation. In the case of a man thinking that it's a woman, you might suspect that this person has some kind of problem. Same thing with the God, the person that believes that there is a God. This person might have a problem because that is irrational. You cannot prove the God. The guy cannot provide proof that he is a woman. The believer cannot provide evidence for a God, that the God in the book, the character that says God in one of these books that talks about God, is real. For the guy that thinks that he is a woman, being a woman makes him feel good. The believer thinking that God is real makes him feel good, because both of them, they don't care about being man or woman. The believer doesn't care about if God is real or not. They both are focusing on one thing only: how they feel. Period. So if a man can be a woman, if you can have a God without proving it, a man can be a woman and don't have to prove it. If a person thinks that they're a dog or a cat and don't have to provide evidence for it, you can believe in one of these gods. You don't have to prove evidence for it. The guy that thinks he's a dog or a cat can be it too. You can do this crazy thing about thinking about a God. It's irrational. The guy that thinks he's a dog is irrational too. If you can do it and it's being normalized, this problem, psychological problem of believing in God is being normalized, why we cannot normalize being a man being a woman, or a man thinking that he's a cat? It's just a process of normalization. We know that there is a problem psychologically or emotionally, but guess what? We can normalize it, knowing that there is a cry for help. It is irrational to think, knowing that you are a guy, that you think that you're a woman. It's the same irrational to think that a character on a book is real. It's irrational, and if you can do that, other people can do irrational things too. You are contributing to a problem. Other people too. Your God can be accepted. These irrational things about God, other people's irrational things can also be accepted and normalized. That is one of the biggest problems we have as humans with the beliefs in God. The normalization of a problem. If you think that an invisible God is real, this is a silent cry for help. Man. Man, that is not right. I've been talking for 53 minutes. That is just crazy. Wow. So, this channel right now still, it's not very popular, but I'm telling you, I know as a fact that in a couple of years, this information is going to be important, because there's going to be more and more problems in the world. Auto-created problems with people normalizing craziness, normalizing problems. The beliefs in God is a cry for help, and people are being ignored and normalizing this lifestyle of believing in God. It's irrational. We should be asking ourselves, why do you believe in a God? What for? Because I feel empty. Where's that emptiness coming from? What happened? Well, my dad was not in my life, so I kind of feel like emptiness, and God fills me up emotionally. Oh, you see, but how about we work on the problem that your dad was not present when you were younger? How about we work on those things so we can help other people? Why do we have to go to irrational ways to deal with these emotional problems? I had a situation when I was younger. It was uncomfortable, and that led me to be unsecure about myself. And believing in God makes me feel good. Oh, yes and no. You're putting a patch to a problem. Nothing good is gonna come out of it, because putting a patch is gonna come out somewhere else. You don't know it yet. I find it interesting that there are so many people that say, I used to be like this, and when I accepted Jesus, it changed all my life. Yes, he did. You come back to this person's life 5, 10 years later, and they're probably in the same situation they were before, or probably worse. Or now they're making money selling God. Not everybody, but most people. Some people say, no, God changed my heart. And you look at their actions, what they're doing when they're not in front of the camera or something, and you know, like, hey, you know what? I think he's lying. Someone that is all the time marketing their relationship with a God, yeah, something is not right. It's like you're telling everybody your relationship with your wife or your husband. Why? What for? Are you insecure? Why are you marketing and telling everybody your relationship with God? Oh, something is not right. Yeah, there's another interested behind it. Whenever I participate or I try to have a conversation with anybody in YouTube when they're talking in favor of a God, and I tell them, I think your God is not real, and people get offended. Not because I'm saying that about their God, because I'm jeopardizing their emotional stability or the emotional rewards they're getting from the God. I think most people are afraid to talk about this problem about believing in God because of their family. Probably their family are going to get upset. Probably their spouse is going to get upset if they tell them, hey, you know what? I think the God of the Bible is a little bit violent. I don't think it's good to be believing in this type of gods. Probably people think about those things, but they don't say it because they know they're going to be rejected. Someone is going to get upset. But here I am talking about it openly, welcoming people to have conversations about this problem. It is a problem that believes in God. Is irrational thinking normalized? One of the things that makes me think so much is, for example, do you know that guy, Tucker Carlson? It's very hard for me to understand someone that is, very rational. He seems to be a good person. And then he talks about gods and sacrifices and spirits and demons. I'm like, man, that's how deep we are as humanity in the normalization of a problem. I think that most people think that by being on the side of the God of the Bible, they're doing something good. not knowing or understanding that they are doing something terribly bad. Believing in a God calls for division and conflict, because your God you believe in, I don't believe in that God. We are separated. I'm okay with your belief in a God, but some people are going to get upset, or some people are going to reject you. Some people are going to think you're nuts. There's a separation, and thanks to the introduction of a God. You have a peaceful society in an island, 10,000 people living in that island. They have their normal problems and conflicts, but you really want to create wars. You really want to create some killing and sacrifices. Introduce a God. Come back 5-10 years later. Let's see how that society is doing. You know what's going to happen. You're not going to lie to yourself. Especially the God of the Bible. You're gonna have some interesting characters in that island, and probably less people alive. We can see the results of introduction of God to societies in different countries. I think that a lot of countries where they have strong religions are probably, some of them, the ones that have the most conflicts. Don't believe me? Go watch for yourself. Christianity, a silent cry for help. Anybody that tells me that they believe in a God, I would like to know and have a conversation why, or a better question, what for? What is your purpose of believing on a God, and why that particular God and not another God? I think that opens up a conversation about yourself, not the God. And well, unfortunately right now I have to be patient. I know that this channel is going to pick up. I can see that people are watching my videos after they're recorded, the live streams. People send messages. Some try to insult, but I understand, it's their feelings. So I try to be a little bit respectful. But anyways, it's been exactly 1 hour. On every live stream, I try to pay attention to the chats, just in case someone wants to ask me a question about what I spoke. Or if you want to get on a call, I have a link that you can call me. I never tried it before. Hopefully it works. And you can ask me questions and we can have a conversation. So I'll put a little bit of music. Guess what music I'm going to put? Ironically, I'm going to put some praying music. I think it's hilarious. I really like it. I'll wait for someone if someone wants to ask me a question on the chat. In the meantime, I do journaling. I like to do journaling twice a day, at least once a day. So I'll write something on my journal, and I'm gonna be looking at the chat just in case someone asks me a question. I'll be happy to answer. doing some journaling. I like to give thanks for things like health, my finances. I like to give thanks for the people around me. That's my journaling. I'm gonna be here for like 5 more minutes. Water with salt. Not much at night. Water with salt has the effect on me that gives me energy. That's why I drink it in the mornings mainly. Water, salt, and lemon. I really like it. Feels like real hydration. This music makes me feel like start talking in tongues, like I used to. It's beautiful. I like it for concentration. Hopefully, hopefully it's playing. I can hear it, and I can see it playing. Silence. Like those channels that have what's it called? ASMR. Hey, how about I do some ASMR and I talk like this? That'll be interesting. I think it's kind of creepy. But we're doing something different. It's like talking in your ear. Why do you believe in God? Why? Man, I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of fun. Something different. I have nothing better to do than be talking to your ears. Imagine having earphones. That would be kind of weird. I don't know about you, but this is creepy. like it when they take something and start making sounds, like. I think it's fun. I'll make one day. I'll make a live stream just talking like that, talking to your ears. I think done properly, it could be relaxing. Talking softly, especially if you have a little bit of music. Alrighty, I think that's good for me. It's almost my bedtime, so I think I'll just cut it here. And if you get to see this live stream after it's been recorded, thank you for being here and thank you for watching the video. And I'll see you on the next one.